For years now, it's appeared that nobody really knew how to treat electronic cigarettes. Were they a form of smoking to be banned or a form of nicotine replacement to be encouraged? A World Health Organization report was very critical, but a more recent report from Public Health England took a radically different tone, hailing vaping as a major weapon against smoking. So should vaping in the workplace be banned like smoking? Richard Downs examines the issue and reveals which tack the government here is taking.
At least 95% less harmful than smoking tobacco. That's a big claim from one of the largest public health promoters around. But the World Health Organization wants countries to stop their use indoors. Countries even might want to ban e-cigarettes outright. What will Ireland do? There appears to be a subtle change in the way professionals here regard e-cigarettes.
I'd be delighted if every cigarette smoker in the morning started using an electronic cigarette instead.
I'm pretty sure as I can be, that they're quite safe, but more importantly, they're far, far safer than tobacco.
Smoke, smoke, smoke that cigarette. Puff, 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 and if you smoke yourself to death.
It's easy to see in the marketing of e-cigarettes some of the same tropes used when smoking tobacco was regarded as glamorous. It's pure, it's clean, there's a lot of blue involved. But away from the spin, the ground may be shifting. And now there's a significant reason to take e-cigarettes seriously. Public Health England, which is one of the most prestigious bodies of its type in the whole world, says that e-cigarettes are 95% less harmful than tobacco. And that's having a big impact on the debate. But the public, if anything, appears to be confused about the benefits or otherwise of e-cigarettes compared to tobacco. Which is the more harmful, do you think?
Which is the more harmful?
Yeah.
I'd say that one.
The e-cigarettes, you think, are more harmful?
I won't be 100% now because I've never tried one of them.
I can't actually positively say that they're not harmful. Do you know, that kind of way? There's not that much information out there on them.
Between the e-cigarettes and the cigarettes, which do you think is the more harmful?
I'd say the nut. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Which do you think is the most harmful?
The normal cigarettes.
By how much?
I don't know.
Tobacco smoke contains about 4,000 compounds created when the tobacco catches fire. 70% of the tar inhaled stays in the lungs, as does other cancer-causing compounds like carbon monoxide, arsenic and hydrogen cyanide. And that's just for starters. E-cigarette vapour is different. It's not the product of burning. It's a mixture of nicotine, flavourings and accelerants turned into an aerosol. Some aldehydes are present, but at much lower levels, typically 1/50th that of tobacco smoke. All of which informed the Public Health England report. Some have criticised it, saying the authors relied on one study, at least partly funded by the e-cigarette industry. Public Health England countered that this was just one of many studies they relied on. For the public, a big change is coming. For the first time, e-cigarettes will be regulated on a Europe-wide basis as nicotine products. In Palmerstown in West Dublin, the faithful gather at this e-cigarette shop, where enthusiasts buy the accessories and the paraphernalia for vaping. Exotic flavours, different mixes. They puff and they puff, perfectly legally indoors. And here the big concern is about the new regulations they believe could stymie their emerging vaping culture.
We agree with regulation. We want juices to be tested for what they are and what they contain, so they don't contain any bad flavourings, bad additives. We want that to happen, but at the end of the day, be sensible about it. Be sensible in the fact that don't charge huge amounts of money for people to license a shop or license to sell vaping paraphernalia. Otherwise, you're just going to kill it and it's going to go underground.
The new regulations will limit the size of bottles, impose new rules on labelling and force manufacturers to test products in advance of releasing them to the market. And then there's another pressing issue. Now, of course, the question is, for ex-cigarette smokers like me, can you use these things? Can you vape indoors? Or are you forced out of doors, in among the smokers, into the very area that you've tried so hard to avoid.
Smoking is strictly not allowed in this area.
We've lived with smoke-free workplaces for more than a decade now, and the World Health Organization says legal steps should be taken to make vaping illegal in the workplace too. Wales is also planning to ban e-cigarettes in enclosed public spaces.
6, please.
But vapers say they don't want to be mixed in with smokers.
If they ban vaping indoors, I don't want to be going and standing beside smokers outside. I gave up smoking for a reason. I'm not going outside to stand beside smokers for the passive smoke to be coming into me.
Respiratory consultant and anti-smoking advocate Ross Morgan is inclined to extend the ban.
I think for now, until we know a little bit more about these products, it is reasonable to include them in smoke-free spaces. Smokers have been used to that for some time, and they do reduce harm to the smoker. Are they harmless in the environment? I just don't know, and I don't think anybody does yet.
Long-time anti-smoking campaigners agree.
The people who have most problem with that are non-smokers, and they're the ones who continue to object. And, you know, they're the main reason why many places, including restaurants, pubs, railways, you know, the buses, public transport, all of that, have actually banned e-cigarettes because people are upset to see, the vapour and the odour.
But is there any evidence of noxious substances in e-cigarette vapour? Public Health England believes not. On nicotine, they say an infant would have to lick 30 square metres of wall space to ingest a milligram. That's a lot of licking. They found the level of nicotine from passive vapour is negligible. Partners of vapors were found to have concentrations 1,000 times lower than that found in partners of smokers, and about the same level you get from eating a tomato. Dr. Garrett McGovern runs addiction clinics in Dublin City and here in Dundrum. This being Ireland, he mostly treats alcohol dependency, but inevitably many are smokers. He urges public health authorities not to smother this new technology at birth.
If the benefits outweigh the risk, and that's quite substantial, and I think it is in the case of e-cigarettes, well then you run with e-cigarettes. You say, yes, well hold on, the risks of coming to any harm with these things is far, far less than it is with tobacco. These devices have a role. Make this device available for people. Do not put it on prescription. Do not put ridiculous, rigorous regulations on it so that people aren't able to get it. I think that's wrong.
The pressure from the WHO to add vaping to our smoking ban looks like it will be resisted, despite pressure from those who say it will re-normalise smoking. Primetime understands the Department of Health believes there's not enough evidence to support a workplace ban on e-cigarettes at present. Vapers won't have to join the smokers outside. But we understand new rules will apply to e-cigarette shops. They will have to be licensed, and evidence on the effect of e-cigarettes will be kept under review. That will satisfy those who believe that e-cigarettes are a useful tool in the fight against tobacco harm. But for those who think they're a backdoor to the tobacco habit, they will be disappointed.